Yeah. This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Let's go.
Hi, everybody.
G'day, guys.
Got Maggie Dent on the show today, helping you out with your kids.
We talk about your access to your partner's phone. And I feel like the only person that really told the truth is Caleb.
Yeah, 100%.
He's very honest.
Actually, we catch up with Steve Butler too, and he tells us about what he thinks about access to phones.
Yeah. Phases that kids have gone through. These are going to be very
Like pretending they're a fox.
Yes, Natalie. Like pretending
Sorry,
they're
not
a fox.
pretending, believing.
Yes, from year 7 to 12. We don't know what year it is, but that in itself is concerning.
And watch out, there's guns everywhere.
Oh, yes, there is.
This is Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Last night on Married at First Sight, there was couples that were giving other couples challenges. One of the couples is Ella and Mitch. Mitch doesn't want to be there.
No.
And Ella likes him way
He's
more
running
than
out
he
of
likes her.
skivvies. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, he's a pretty man, isn't he?
He's a pretty man. He looks like he wears eyeshadow all the time. He's just got that, that natural Photoshopness about it, which is actually sickening. And if you have that out in the public, I hate you.
Yeah, me too.
Imagine just naturally looking
Yes.
filtered all the time. Ugh.
Where's the character on your face?
Yeah, sure. That's not what we're calling it.
That's what we're calling it.
That's what we're
We've
calling
told
it.
so many times.
Character. So they were issued a challenge to be able to give each other access to their phones, to each other's phones, for 5 minutes, which is confronting for a lot of people.
It
because
is.
the phone is an extension of you. It's where everything that you are is in it, really.
All your personal stuff.
Sean, can I look at your phone for 5 minutes?
Oh, I'll give you 3.
So Ella was given his phone. She was feeling very uncomfortable about it and said, this doesn't feel right, because I don't think Ella
Yes.
is a person that would snoop through someone's
That's
phone.
right. Clearly, she wasn't comfortable with the idea of
Yes,
it.
but she did stumble onto something.
What's in this little folder?
You can't go in that one. That's a vault.
Got a code?
Yeah.
Go on, open it.
Nah.
Go on. Show me what's in that
Can't
photo.
go in the vault. It's just...
I mean, I've never looked at a guy's phone, so I don't know. What's a photo vault?
There's a heap of in there. I got a big vault. Things that I want to keep to myself and don't want to show anyone else. It's just got content inside it.
Of explicit pictures?
Yes.
You?
No, not of me.
Women? Ex-partners?
You're not going to get into the photo vault, so...
Do you have photos of your ex-partners on here? Okay, oh, that's a bit weird.
For years and years and years, he's been collecting photos for this vault.
Well, he's kept
Sean,
them.
do you have a vault?
Yeah, but
No comment.
Sean's isn't on his phone. Sean keeps his buried out bush somewhere. That is strange to, I think, look, they're really not in a real relationship. Let's be
No,
honest.
that's true.
But if they had been dating for how long they've been dating for, a
Yes.
few months or no, when do you have to get rid of the vault, do you think?
Sean?
God,
When are you prepared to give it
I
up?
think if you're in a real relationship, I don't know what the time frame would be, but I would think there'd be a point where you go, oh, this is pretty serious. I don't need
Yes.
any of this other stuff. Move on.
And
Where do you move it on to?
You move it
What do you-
onto a portable hard drive.
100%. I never said once you're going to delete it.
It just shouldn't be in your
No
pocket.
relationship lasts forever, Nathan.
That's when you hide it in the roof.
Print it out.
So many people, even if you're not cheating, I want to take
Yes.
cheating off the table, right? It's just that a lot of people that are in a successful relationship, their partner isn't allowed to access their phone.
No, it's kind of like a trust thing. It's like, I trust you, so I don't need to look at it.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
is
Yeah, that's a good point.
The vibe. But
Yep.
then it's like, well, if I trust you, then there's nothing to hide either.
Someone that we work with, that
Yes.
I won't mention their names, she was saying that she will let her partner look through her phone at any given time,
Yes.
but whenever she wants to use his phone for something, he holds it. And then she can access
won't
it
relinquish
like
control.
a tablet when you're ordering something at a restaurant. Like he has to hold it to be ready to snatch it away at any given time.
She gets too close.
The problem
to
is
vault.
they could come across something that has an explanation, but they can jump to conclusions.
Is that
And
what
I bring
you're
that
most
up. No, I
worried
bring that
about?
up
Like
because
what? Like what?
Well, I remember this so clearly. Ming was telling this to someone just recently, and my daughter had my phone, and and she spotted a photo that was on a WhatsApp group that saves to your phone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she told Megan that I was cheating on her.
Yes.
She said, "Oh, Dad's hanging out with this other chick or something," and it was quite an explicit picture of somebody, and I just got railroaded out of nowhere. Explain this, and I'm like, "What the hell?" And
then did you show all the WhatsApp messages? Because that would have been more concerning.
Sean, you know you can turn that feature off. WhatsApp doesn't have to
Why would I
save.
want to do that?
He can still look at the photo.
Anyone that's doing anything, and whether I want to take cheating off the table. right? So say that you say some really wrong things to your mates that you'd never say in front of your partner, and then when you get the text messages and the message will pop up on your phone without having to access it.
Yes.
So there'll be a preview message.
Yes.
It always amazes me that more people don't turn that off.
Yes.
Because that's how you would get. Because straight away, if I'm sitting there with anyone, and
I
then
haven't turned it off.
it happens to you all the time, Sean. Sweets comes up, and automatically my eyes go to your phone. I'm not reading it, but if you wanted to read it, you could. We want to talk about the world of accessing your partner's phone.
While we're doing that, can you show me how to turn that off?
Because
I've been sweating bullets
I'll show
lately.
you how to turn that off. Make up for missed holidays with whatif.com this Easter. Ocean view apartment for us, water park for the kids.
Plus, select hotels are fully refundable. Booking cancellation windows apply.
What if it's Aussie for travel? Check government advisories before booking and travelling.
Bit of a confronting exercise last night for Ella and Mitch on MAFS when they were tasked with looking through one another's phones for 5 minutes.
Yes, Ella stumbled upon an app, which was Mitch's Vault, which you refused to open for her because it had years and years and years of collected content.
Content. Is fairly heavily emphasised, isn't it?
And we are talking about the world of having access to your partner's phone because we know it's confronting for some people, but when you're married, it sort of feels like on paper with your vows, you should be allowed.
The trust should be there.
Yeah, so I was saying to you off air, I've got a couple of friends now that are really, they should trust me enough. It's my phone, it's an extension. There's some things in there that I don't want to give up.
Like what?
Well, that suggests there isn't trust.
I don't know.
There's misplaced trust.
But then they're saying that's because the person doesn't trust. I mean, there's a grey area, obviously, in the middle of it.
It also might be like, so say your partner's done something that's really annoyed you and you're
teeing off
about him in the messages.
Let's go to Nathan at East Freo. Hi, Nathan.
Hey, how are we going?
Good day.
Okay, what's your contribution?
Well, you know how when you have shared bank accounts, you get notifications if you spend anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so trying to do something nice for my, wife's 15th anniversary, I was trying to put a bit of money aside. Yeah. The wife found out that I was putting a little bit of money aside with this new job. She was wanting to know if I was having an affair, putting money aside for a bit on the side.
Oh, Nate.
And you were
completely
saving
ruined
for
the
her.
surprise.
So Nate, did she find this out through going on your phone?
Yeah. Just going through and going, but you got a pay increase. Why is the money not, and it was all because I was trying to, not adding up, and it was that whole, wanting to do something nice but not wanting to see that there was a big spend.
Yes. It's hard to get past.
Fail.
When you have a joint bank account, it's hard to get anything past.
When they can account for every cent.
Yeah. I mean, sadly, I've never had to experience it.
No. It's really sad.
Unless I join up with my mum and dad. Oh my God. I mean, every week I say something that gets sadder and sadder.
Yeah, I mean, you've taken it to a new low there.
Weird threesome.
Thank you, Nathan. Chelsea's in Kelmscott. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Chelsea.
Okay, talk to us about going through your partner's phone. Is it a thing in your relationship?
Yes, so me and my partner have been together for about 4 years.
Yeah.
And he is well aware that I have all of his passwords, details on everything on my phone.
Really?
What about his second phone, Chelsea? How do you do that
the burner.
Oh, no. He hasn't even got one of them.
So,
sure.
That's the point of them, Chelsea. You don't know about them. Chelsea, so you've got the passwords. Do you use that knowledge and power?
Yeah. He knows if I'm like, I'll go just check it in messages. It's just because we have a child together and he makes plans with his friends and forgets to tell me. So it's like, okay, so I've got that now.
So you just want to find out what his plan.
So Chelsea, it was never a discussion. This was just always from day dot, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
And it wasn't a thing that you demanded. It was just a thing that just happened.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, well, if you need to check anything, you go. He's got my details. He just doesn't bother with them though. 'Cause
Okay,
And that's how you get away with it, Chelsea. Is that what you're saying?
oh no,
No, because what we've stumbled onto here, Sean, is seems like a very stand-up young man that that completely trusts his missus and she can trust
All he
him
does
and-
is forget to tell her what he's got planned.
Yeah, I know
with
that's
his mates.
fair.
That's-
Cool.
It's just like
It's a foreign concept, isn't
100%
it?
transparency, Sean.
Imagine.
It's a foreign concept, mate.
Tell you about that.
Okay. We might need a song then.
Actually, let's play two.
The Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
On MAFS last night, a bit of tension when Ella and Mitch were tasked with looking through one another's phones for 5 minutes.
That's right. Ella stumbled onto a Mitch's Vault, which is an app that she can't access. Mitch refused to open it because it had, I quote, years and years of content on it. That was
explicit content.
only for his eyes. So we are talking about the world of accessing your partner's phone or letting them have access to it. Hello, Gerald.
How you going, guys?
Good, Gerald.
Mate.
Now, Gerald, what's the situation in your relationship?
Yeah, we've got full open disclosure with our phones. My partner and I.
Right there, Gerald, you're just cutting out a little bit.
Yes.
Full transparency, you say, Gerald.
That's correct.
So, Gerald, there is nothing questionable on your phone at all.
Nothing at all. I've been married 22 years. If I've got something to hide now, I shouldn't be married.
And do you, open transparency is one thing, but do you actually actively look through one another's phones frequently?
If we have to find some information about something or whatever, yeah, we can. We have no drugs at all.
Yeah.
You know what it is? So, Gerald, 22 years ago, the taking pictures of one's nether regions was not a thing.
Sure.
It's,
It was, but it was a
I think
Polaroid.
it's the generation. I think it's the generation of crutchal shots. Which is only recently.
it's been a massive shift lately, Nathan.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Happy to be on board, Nat. Thank you.
Because back in the day, Gerald, you probably was still like had like a magazine of illicit content.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Hey, Gerald, honestly, can you be honest with me right now? And this is fine because it's fine for every healthy relationship. Does one maybe clear the internet history every once in a while?
Not that I'm aware of.
Gerald.
Well, then she's doing a good job of it.
She is a very good job.
Thanks, Gerald. Caleb's in Armidale. Hello.
Hey guys, how you going?
Good,
Great,
Caleb.
Are we looking through one another's phones?
Yeah, I was just saying, it's instant breakup in my household if you go through my phone, so you better be damn sure I'm cheating on you. Look,
Caleb, we've been waiting to hear the truth.
Caleb,
Come on, mate.
You were the one we wanted to talk to.
So okay. It's a no-go zone for either of you.
yeah, look, I've been with my partner for 6 years. I trust her more than I trust anybody else in this world, but I have so many friends I talk to about their situations that a phone these days is not just a phone. It's a computer, you have your emails on it, you have so many different things that my friends would not be appreciative if they found out that my missus had been reading about their situation.
I love you, Caleb.
that's a really good
Caleb won't
point.
let his missus look at his phone because he's protecting his friend's secrets.
Yeah, yes.
I love that.
No secrets of his own.
Hold
Just
on,
his
Caleb,
friends.
say that again. I just got to write that down.
All right, Caleb, do you have anything in your phone that you wouldn't want her to see except for other than the friend's messages? Do you have any illicit content?
I have heaps, but it's all inappropriate memes.
I have
Inappropriate
It
memes.
makes sense when you read the stories.
Yeah. So the WhatsApp groups get pretty animated, I imagine.
Oh, man, we talk about the most horrid things, but at the end of the day, it's nothing about our relationship. I just don't want to know what a horrible human being I am.
Caleb, perfect.
Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Sean?
Yes, friend.
Your children are going to a private school, yes?
Yes, they are. Well, a couple of them, yeah.
2 out of 3.
I'm 2 and 1 at the moment, but 3 have gone through.
It's a fun price tag, isn't it?
It's always good knowing that when I rang the school just the other day to find out how much I do owe. And then paying that over the credit card and just know, how far is payday already? We're 1 day in. I'm already looking ahead.
How did you pay that over the credit card? Remember that time we went out for lunch in Sydney and then
declined?
You had no funds and then none of us would help you. Sean looks and goes, and we go, no, sorry.
You said you'd get it.
See, that's the thing. You guys don't have a partner or a serious person
sucking the money out of your account.
to take your money. See, that's a difference.
Yes.
I can look at my account and go, okay, that looks all right. And then within 24 hours, it just
completely different picture.
Yeah. So a private school's really going to create a great young man or a great young woman that's ready to tackle this professional world.
You would think so.
And hopefully go into something amazing.
That's what they sell you on.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So students at an elite private school, it's Brisbane Girls Grammar School. At the moment, there is a group of them that are walking on all fours and cutting holes into their uniforms for tails as they identify as cats and foxes.
Oh, foxes. Foxes is very specific.
Foxy Cleopatra.
The girls have been caught preening themselves, licking the back of their hands and walking around with their arms hanging towards the ground as if they're on all fours.
They're taking the piss.
A concerned parent has said when a girl went to sit at a spare desk, another girl screamed at her and said she was sitting on her tail. There's a slit in the child's uniform where the tail apparently is.
Oh, sorry, there's not an actual tail. It's an imaginary tail.
A Brisbane psychologist, Judith Locke, Natalie, she said
Auntie
that she
Jude.
was unsurprised by the emergence of the new trend. She claimed it was only a matter of time before people began to identify as animals after romanticising them in their lives in film and television.
Really, Judith?
I think, Judith, you're...
Then she goes on to say, but there's a real challenge around the acceptance of people's decisions on how they see themselves these days. It's a fraught area. I think she's suggesting that in 20 years' time, people can say they're a cat.
Sorry, gender identity. We're thinking of the past. Now species identity.
What if we in 20 years ago, remember that day we were talking about this? And now it's like,
and now it's a thing.
Yeah.
Now you have to watch out for people's imaginary tails.
and the canteen has to order a lot more milk.
How much does it hurt if somebody sits on your imaginary tail?
I don't know, Sean. Doors will have to be, heights will have to be raised for imaginary antlers.
Yes.
So I went straight to the comments section for this, and Sid James, who's from Sydney, he commented and said, "It's only a phase. My own daughter used to repeatedly ask, am I a real person at that age, and charged all around the house on all fours. She's now MD of a big company and has a family." He said, just laugh it off and give them a dog biscuit when they're good.
By family, he means litter, right?
Yeah, litter.
That's an easy thing for Sid to say, because normally those kids who are going through that phase are, I don't know, between 5 and maybe younger than that, up to about the age of 8 or 9. But not when they're in high school at a private high school.
Yes, years 7 till 12, Brisbane.
Yes.
There you go.
Grammar School.
There you go.
Year 7.
Well, this isn't animal related, but one of my friends was telling me her daughter goes to one of the elite private schools here in Perth, and she said that all of the girls are wearing the pajamas under their school uniforms. And so I asked the girl why, and she just went, it's comfortable. She's wearing silky pajamas.
Do you reckon someone's going to school one day?
Negligee or little shorty?
No, short.
Okay, that's good.
Do you reckon someone came to school one day because they were in a rush, they just chucked it, and then
they've made it a thing?
So now the cool thing is to wear...
Apparently so. They're all doing it.
Oh, that's a phase.
I know, you would think.
You're listening to Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Some girls at an elite private school in Brisbane are walking on all fours and have cut holes in their uniforms for their imaginary tails because they are identifying as cats and foxes.
Foxes.
Now, we're hoping it's just a phase, and that's what we want to talk about, when you went through a phase as a kid.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
Hi, Beck.
My daughter's going to kill me. I can't mention her name.
Great. Good.
All right,
But
so
it's
what's your
Rebecca
daughter's
from Lower
name?
Chittering.
No.
Right. What'd your daughter go through?
Oh, we just moved here from the UK, so I don't know if it's because she missed our dog, but she went everywhere pretending she was a dog called Rosie. We had to call her Rosie. We had to put her a bowl down. She wore our dog's collar from when she was a puppy. But she wouldn't do it when we went out the house. But around the house, we had to call her Rosie, and she'd go everywhere on all fours.
Rebecca, did you walk her around on a leash at home?
No.
Did she
I stopped myself. She probably asked.
Did she eat out of a dog bowl?
Yeah, biscuit.
Oh, okay, that sounds...
Not
biscuits.
biscuits.
No, like a Monte
too
Carlo.
serious.
Yeah, or a Kingston. We got
How old was she at the time?
I reckon she was probably about 4.
And
So
how old is she
probably went
now?
on for 16 this year.
Okay, and so it was just a phase. She's now walking upright?
Oh, no, and she's an intelligent girl. Oh, she did later on go on to pretend to be a horse as well.
Sorry, when did she pretend to be a horse?
when she suddenly, that was a bit older.
A bit older. She graduated to a
11 or
horse.
12 then.
11 or 12 and people could ride her around the household?
Oh, her and her friends used to make jumps and pretend to jump over them and stuff.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, she was a late scratching for the mum and company.
Yeah, that's right.
She was actually very, very good.
Thanks, Beck.
Get a foot abscess.
Let's go to Zach in Rockingham. Morning, Zach.
Morning.
Hey, Zach.
Okay, who went through a phase as a kid, Zach?
It was my brother. He thought he was a chicken.
He
Walk
thought
us
he was
through
a
it.
chicken.
How did that manifest? What did he do?
I honestly have no idea, to be honest. All of a sudden, he was a chicken and thought he was king of the chickens and all that kind of stuff.
He's a rooster.
It was really weird.
Can I just say, Zach said, and he thought he was the king of the chicken and all that kind of stuff. Like
Yes.
we all know.
That normal pattern of behaviour.
So many questions, Zach.
They let him, keep going for a while because they needed the eggs.
Oh, of course they did. Did he? Was he going around the house pecking? Down to eat food and stuff. What was he doing?
No, he was doing, pretty much just being a chicken, going around with his arms like wings, trying to peck the ground, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Now, luckily for Rebecca, her daughter's dog and horse antics were inside. Was he a private chicken or was he a public out in the streets?
Public chicken.
Unfortunately, he was a public chicken.
A public chicken. Like when he was being naughty, did your parents just drive him past Red Rooster as a threat?
Pretty much, actually, yeah.
You'll become a boot chicken if you carry on like this.
Yeah, exactly. The way to frighten him out of that is to show him how a chicken gets stuffed.
Yes, exactly. Good on you, Zach. Thank you.
Go towards him with some breadcrumbs.
You're listening to Nathan, Nat and Sean.
We're talking about the phases that kids go through.
Hi, Amy.
Morning.
Amy.
Hey, Ames.
This is about your son, is it?
It is. My son has taken to absolutely tantruming the house down if he is not allowed to wear his sister's dresses out in public.
Oh, bless. How old is he?
So freeing, I guess.
How old is he, Amy?
He's 2.5.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm all for it. Like, go for your life. But I had to drop him at daycare the other day and I was running late for work. And I got his little outfit out and whatever, and he's, no. And I was like, okay, that's fine. You can pick your own clothes. So straight into his sister's cupboard and he pulls out this most beautiful dress, like butterflies, whatever. Anyway,
Yes.
I was like, we can't wear that to daycare. Anyway, he was just losing it completely. So I was like, you know what? Fine. Put him in the dress, took him to daycare. It was like the busiest drop-off time, and all these other mums are staring at me like I'm an absolute raging psychopath.
No, you're not.
My son in this absolutely beautiful dress, and he's the most good-looking little girl. Like, he's gorgeous.
Amy.
This mother said to me, she just sort of looked down, she goes, oh, that's an interesting choice of clothing. And I just went, oh, yeah, I picked it. Doesn't he look gorgeous this morning?
Good. Do you know what? This is the time when suddenly when you get older, right, you start looking at the views on society and what you can and can't do. This is the time where if your child wants to dress as Spider-Man for 24 hours a day, like, I'm all for it.
Or if they
want to wear a dress.
A formal dress to...
I am all for it.
And it's a perfect time to be able to take a photo and just hold this for the right
Amy,
moment.
I think that you're a really good mum.
Yeah.
I think that's lovely that you're just like, you do you.
Go with the flow.
Yeah.
Also, it's easier than assessing the tantrum.
It's easier.
Thanks, Amy. Olivia, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Liv.
Hi, Liv. Okay, what have you got for us?
Hello. So when my sister was about 3 years old, she would not leave the house without wearing a rudder swim cap and goggles.
Okay, she's prepared for anything.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, my hair's covered. Yeah.
Was she a good swimmer at all?
Was she what, sorry?
A good swimmer?
At that,
Yeah.
Where the floaties on.
All right,
Yeah.
so to the shops, to school?
She's only 3.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yep, kindergarten and stuff like that. How long did it last for?
About 6 months.
Ah, that's it. You know what?
It's a lot of swim caps.
If I had a child, I'd want 6 months of that.
Yeah, I know. I just find it so funny. And the upside is she didn't have to do her hair. So, I mean, it's silver lining.
And it was like any time we would leave the house, even, and like if we were in the shops and she would see more, she would just have to buy more.
Yeah,
and she had like
more swimming caps.
collection.
You can't have too many.
Actually, I've got a truckload. You can have mine. She hasn't grown out of it, that is.
Okay. Thanks, Olivia.
Nathan, Nat and Sean in podcast form.
Play up to win the premiership flag. It's our mate Stevie Butler from the West Australian. We love Steve
Win the
Butler.
something cup, shouldn't it be? Up, cup.
Well, Nathan, they flew straight to the ground.
Didn't they?
Stevie Butler, your team were horrendous on the weekend.
Isn't that just such a Fremantle thing to do?
I mean, silver lining, Nick Martin, amazing.
Look, we were disgraceful and embarrassing and disappointing and all those things, and Fremantle got over the line nicely, and great job by Heath Chapman with the punch of the year.
Yeah.
No, it was good to see Nick Martin. I think he's been overlooked draft after draft after draft, finally gets his chance and takes it beautifully, kicked 5 goals in a losing side. And, you know, in an all-star cast of young kids who performed really well on the weekend, including the number 1 draft pick, Horn Francis, and a few others like that. Rochelle from Adelaide with his 5 goals against Fremantle. I think it was a great effort by Nick to get the rising star, and he looks like he's right at home in the AFL, no doubt about that.
Horn Francis.
You like that name?
Are you joking?
Is that up and about with
like
the
Horn? Like I spell it.
With a hyphen.
H-O-R-N-E
No, with a hyphen.
hyphen.
It's his surname.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jason Horn
sorry,
Francis.
I thought his name was Horn Francis.
Yeah,
Like his first
off air,
name,
Steve, we
Horn.
were discussing some really weird names.
His mum and dad are dragons.
If we're living in a world where you can call a baby boy Horn.
We've come a long way.
I reckon we would buy something here. I reckon that's to watch this space. Someone's going to call their kid Horn.
Horn. Yeah, I don't think there would be a person out there that would name their child Horn, would they?
How would Horn Butler sound? Should I go and change
Horn Butler.
Yeah,
Horn,
I
think
think
so.
so.
Well, it's better than Horny Butler, isn't it?
Well, is it? That's not what you said last night. Sorry.
Steve, it was
Too
great
early.
to see so many young players in the AFL have such a big impact. It was just amazing across the league, and every team then being able to hang their hats on seeing these guys play and develop on through their
it's brilliant.
careers.
Hey, Steve, can I...
Well, can I just say quickly that story? When the great Neil Danaher once told me, if you haven't got hope, you haven't got anything. And so that's what that means with those young players. Even when you get a flogging, like Essendon did, you look for a Nick Martin to show you that there's hope somewhere. And I think that's the beauty about footy.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, a little ray of sunshine as well. Shout out to Will Schofield, who on the morning of the Eagles game, 8:52 in the morning, he tweeted. There's a amazing stats guy called Sir Swamp Thing, and he tweeted him and said, Tom Barras plays his 100th game today. If he was to kick a goal, it would be his first career goal. Has anyone in the history of the game kicked their first goal in their 100th game?
The answer was no.
The answer was no. He's the first one
And
to
now
do it. It's amazing, isn't it?
And didn't the boys get around him as well when he did it?
Yeah.
I feel so good for Tommy. I mean, he obviously lost his father, Tony, who was a legend of our journalistic game last year, and he was the man who actually gave him my job, so he left us with a lot to answer for.
Yes.
And it was just great to see all the teammates get around Tom when he kicked that goal. And he's a pretty interesting cat. He's got some quirks to him, but he's a brilliant young man, and I was glad he got to feel that moment. It was good for him.
Hey, Steve, just on the side, I want to know, we were speaking earlier this morning about partners having access to your phone. Are you fine for your partner to be able to go through any part of your phone at any time?
No one touches my phone.
What have you got on there?
He's got a lot of contacts. He's got a lot of contacts, Steve. So
little black book's good.
I'll let you look that. I think you'd like it.
No one touches my phone.
And Steve, I want to ask you finally about what happened at Perth Glory, Richard Garcia, and getting moved on. Clearly, they haven't won enough games. I totally understand that. I also totally understand that how difficult it's been for the Perth Glory over the last 2 years. Is Tony Sage going to relinquish this club at any stage, do you think, or Tony Sage? Yep.
Yeah, it's a good question. And you know, he's obviously having his troubles, and he's quick to talk about the troubles that they've been in financially for some period of time now. You know, you come out of the Tony Popovic era, and then you hit COVID, and poor old Richard Garcia never got a real good lick of the ice cream, I don't think. And you know, I'm not sure that he really enjoyed the Daniel Sturridge situation.
No.
From some of his comments in the West yesterday. And I just don't know whether he got his decent crack at it. And, you know, you get tainted by these things in your career. So it's a difficult period for Richard, but I think it's been a difficult period for the club all round. Can I just mention one more thing that really took my interest over the weekend?
Yep.
Did you see the situation with Yaroslava Mahushik from Ukraine, where she's a high jumper and she won the World Athletics Indoor Championship 3 weeks after fleeing Ukraine? She hid in her cellar before making the 2,000-kilometre trip to Belgrade. And when she got to Serbia, she said, I've had to go through hundreds of phone calls, many changes of direction, explosions, fires, and air raid sirens. And then she goes and wins the World Championship 3 weeks after hiding in a cellar.
That's
extraordinary, isn't it?
That's one of the great World Championship goals of all time. And now I note that the Olympic Committee, the International Olympic Committee this morning have started a humanitarian fund, which is headed by a task force fronted by Ukraine legend pole vaulter Sergei Bubka. So there's a bit going on behind the scenes, but that is one of the most extraordinary athletic achievements you will ever see. I think fleeing your home, hiding in the cellar, going win the world championship. How good is that?
I wonder if going through something like that, as full on as what she did, you get to you get to do high jump. You go, oh, this is nothing.
This is easy. I know. I mean, you hear a lot of athletes talking about interrupted preparation and that sort of thing. No, that's interrupted preparation. And still, she's victorious. Amazing. Thank you so much,
Steve.
I'm just glad I pronounced Yaroslava Muck.
It was very aggressive.
We don't know if you did it right.
Thank you so
much.
We're
going to take your word for it.
Pawn Butler.
Good on you, Steve.
This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Sean.
We didn't get to the F1 yesterday, and West Aussie Daniel Ricciardo had an absolute stinker in the season-opening Bahrain F1 event, where he finished 14th. At one stage, he was last, so he's getting around in a pretty fancy McLaren these days. Yeah. Because we know that he's getting paid like $30-odd million a year because he's gone for the money.
Yeah.
How much do you reckon he's regretting the fact that he's moved from Red Bull over the last couple of years?
How much money does he have?
He's getting about 30 big ones.
That'd certainly help ease the pain.
I mean, look, it would be disappointing for him at the end of the day.
You've got $30 million in your pocket.
And I saw the house that he's bought, I think, over in LA or something like that. I mean, he's...
But if he stays with Red Bull at the time, because you remember their principal owner, which is Christian Horner, he was really upset that he believed that Daniel reneged on what he thought was a deal. Yeah. Max Verstappen, who was his teammate at the time, won the championship last year.
Yeah.
And he gets paid all the money in the world. So if you're successful anyway, you're going to get the coin. But Daniel decided to go to Renault, and that was just a stepping stone then to go to McLaren. And both those teams have battled.
It's hard for us to sort of think what we'd do in that situation, because right now, if I was Daniel, I'd just probably quit and just enjoy my money. Because but he's striving for something more.
Yes.
And I know that a lot of people were angry with him when he left Red Bull, because it's like, where's the loyalty? But let's go back to your playing days. Fremantle, right? You were all guns blazing, Fremantle for
Purple
life.
Heart.
Then say suddenly, what's the most you can get paid without tipping off a salary cap? And
these days, let's say they're saying here's $1 million to go and play for your team.
So you were offered $1 million from somewhere else.
It'd be hard not to go. You're right. It would be very hard,
especially from the $50 a game you were being paid.
One time it got up to 75, but I mean that was with a win.
But then he got fined for the melee.
Oh, that was such a great story. I always want to get this off, because Stephen Dodd played his very first game for the Dockers, and we had a melee against Geelong, and I think Dotty, for being a rookie listed player that day, was getting paid like under $1,000 to play the game, and he got fined $1,500 for that melee.
So it cost him $500 to pay.
A melee just sounds like something that happens at a garden party.
Yes,
don't you think? It just seems like people are wearing linen, and someone's playing croquet,
or it's a cooking technique. Just lightly melee the
that's
like ceviche.
Good.
It was ceviche on the oval today.
Bit of ceviche. With the AFL, we saw that Willie Rioli was suspended yesterday, and I watched a lot of the shows yesterday, and everyone was saying he was really lightly dealt with by the match review officer.
That's interesting, because the Eagles reckon they're going to appeal it.
And I watched Channel 7 last night, and the Eagles and Adam Simpson said he's definitely going to appeal it.
Why was he suspended? Wagging? What?
And smoking around the toilets. That's always a giveaway.
There's got to be repercussions, doesn't there?
Has to be. He left his feet, Nath, as the player Matt Rowell. The ball was in the air. The opposition player was coming towards the ball, and he jumped in the air and he kind of just ran through him. Now, in my day, we'd go, whatever.
Yes.
These days, they're just saying if you're making front-on, head-on contact, you're in trouble. The reason why he only got 1 week is because Matt Rowell was able to get up and continue playing the game. But if he gets a fractured jaw, gets concussed in any way, which we're seeing all the time now,
Bigger
then he
penalty.
would get, big time. So I don't know how the Eagles are going to get out of this one. They're going to take it on, but...
Well, Eagles have to fly, that's what I would say. Eagles belong in the air.
Got him with another technicality.
You know what I mean? Like the defence. I mean, like, come on. And that means that your guys can go and smack anyone on the head with an anchor.
I like it.
Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Time to welcome the one and only Maggie Dent to the show. Good morning, Mags.
Hi, Mags.
Oh, God, I missed you so much.
Oh, sweetheart, I miss eating your protein balls.
Yeah, well, and a few other things.
Maggie, we do miss your home cooking. Hey, how's it been over there? We know that, the floods and stuff, which we followed over from here, have been absolutely horrendous. So how's that impacted you?
Oh, look, fortunately I live on a hill, but there was a landslide that nearly took out my son and my daughter-in-law as they were going around it. So it's just been really, really crazy.
Wow.
But but I've had it. I've done it. I've coroned out. I had it. I have to laugh. My 2-year-old grandson says, "You got Rona, Nanny."
Yes.
How was it, Maggie? Was it? Did you get? Because a few people have had it and they go, "Oh, it's just sort of like a cold." One of my mates had it. He had fevers.
I'm old and I'm prone to pneumonia and things like that. So I was a little bit nervous. Hit me like a steam truck with the fevers and the temperature.
Yeah.
36 hours, Panadol hardly touched it. And then it just like a fog lifts and you just kind of, it's like a cold. I got a bit of, my voice is a bit raspy. I had a fair bit of snot.
Yeah.
But I was, so I'm just glad, I've got the stocks. I survived it.
Yeah.
And apparently that means that when I finally get back to WA, I'm probably the safest person you could be around because,
Yeah, you have your natural
at the end of
immunity.
the day.
I tell you what, being triple vaxxed is obviously helping a lot of people through that because anyone that I know that has gone through it and then I say, well, if imagine what you possibly, not definitely, but possibly could have gone through if you weren't triple vaxxed. It could have been horrendous.
I know, but... Okay, my new season.
Yes, of your
Bring it
podcast.
on.
So Parental as Anything is back again, season 5.
Oh, my God, we're going a bit different this time, too. We're doing some Help Me Maggies, because I get all these emails all the time, get Help Me Maggie. We thought, why don't we just chuck some of them on the air?
Yeah, it's a great
I
idea.
love some Help Me Maggies.
And they're just short, it's like Agony Aunt, and short and punchy, and you hear a dear parent's voice, obviously usually mum. And that's really good. It's put a little different slant. The podcasts are lucky if they go to half an hour. They're usually about 20 minutes, and for some parents, that's even too long.
Yeah, well, look, before we get stuck into it, 13 24 10, Help Me Maggies. Let's open it up.
Help Me Maggie.
If you've got a Help Me Maggie.
That's what they say when they used to email you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Help Me Maggie.
Everybody needs Maggie's help.
And Maggie, I was looking at your apps coming up, including Sleep Wars and what to do when your kids hate school. So these things are... we're only early into a school year, and of course, Sleep Wars is always an issue.
Yeah.
Not a household doesn't go through that.
Oh, my goodness. And what's really reassuring, I talked to 2 kind of experts. One's a teen expert and one's a younger one. And, it's great to know that it's kind of normal. Do you know what? It's really quite normal, especially little ones. And I mean, I was just talking to Ames before I came on air, and she's finally got her daughter out of her bed. And
yes,
we don't beat ourselves up if the way they fall asleep best is beside us. Because the bottom line is the more sleep everybody gets, the nicer and smarter and kinder everyone is the next day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Have a look at us. We hardly get any sleep.
Hey, Maggie, you gave some advice to my best mate whose daughter was really finding it hard to sleep. And you talked to me about, because they're upstairs and she's downstairs, and you said it's the physical distance away from them that she's feeling.
Yeah.
So I came up with this idea that he did. That
they've moved into a 1-bedroom
unit.
to
work. I said to him, maybe a fun thing to do would to get her a walkie-talkie, so she could lie there in bed.
Not so far away.
And she would have, even if she used it or not, she would have that connection, knowing as soon as she pressed that, she could speak to mummy and daddy. It worked. Yeah, it was really good.
They turned their end off. Obviously,
that's a really good idea, mate.
Yeah,
I'm stealing that.
Yeah, but that was.
Do I have to move over, Nathan? And you've got it now. You're going to take my queen of common sense.
Well, no. what it was, Maggie, it was the distance thing. And when you said that, I thought, what can bridge the distance from a kid without moving their bedroom? And that is contact, and what contact is. And that's what I love about it. Is
that's exactly why with kids who are struggling to transition.
Yeah.
They actually want to be near the safest, but you're just putting them into a really strange environment, which is automatically going to make them stressful. So who they actually want is their big safe grown up to come with them. So anytime we build a connection that goes over the distance, whether that's a dab of mum's perfume underneath their earlobe or a little heart in the hand or a message in the lunchbox, you are making the distance shorter for them and they feel more connected. And it really is. It's the same, for all of us, really.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's connection.
And when I miss these, when we're on holidays and I'm not close enough to these guys, thank God I've got some of their garments to keep
Sean's
me safe.
got some of my hair.
That means because sometimes, like, I wake up at my house and Sean's spooning me, and I go, "How did you get in? Where's Megan?"
I just go, "Shh, go to the
He just strokes his hair.
No, we're biologically wired. We are biologically wired to thrive best when we have safe, intimate relationships.
Yeah, that's what I told him.
I know he did.
Whether it's a human or a good dog, hey.
Absolutely.
The only thing is, Maggie, the spoon turned into a spork, and it was just a bit.
So you didn't hate it. You didn't hate it.
Well,
and we might move on.
The wonderful Maggie Dent has a podcast called Parental as Anything through the ABC, and season 5 launches this week, so check that out. And one of the segments is Ask Me Maggie, so we thought, why don't we do that?
Okay, so Lisa would like Maggie's help. Hello, Lisa.
Hello.
Hi, Lisa.
All right,
Lisa, Maggie, Lisa.
Hi.
Maggie, hi.
What's happening?
So my 5-year-old started pre-primary this year. He did kindy last year, but he started pre-primary this year. And he started fucking his collars of his school shirts, of his clothes at home, to the point where the first 2 weeks of school, he's bitten the button off. The collars are all frayed.
He's eating his
So
clothes.
he's literally so he sits there and as a comfort will just suck on the on the collar.
Yeah.
Oh.
He does it subconsciously. He doesn't know he's doing it.
Oh.
I don't know how to
Okay,
stop it.
Lisa. Yeah, okay. So the very first thing is that your little cherub is in a school system that is developmentally almost inappropriate because it's putting so much pressure on them. So that's the very first thing. So what he's doing, and this is a response for him to try and co-regulate his anxiety and his stress, that being in such an environment, also being away from the safest big people who help me safe. So some children will act out and be aggressive and shout and run around and push kids over. Others will what we call shut down, and this is kind of one of the shutdown behaviours where they look like they're not either listening or they're in dreamland or they're chewing on something or they're rocking in their chair. So it's just an attempt by him to co-regulate the stress cortisol in his body. So first thing around these things, there's lots of free information about anxiety on my website. And I'd probably see if you can get him to have to do one of the mindfulness ones, perhaps one of the free ones I've got, Safe and Sound or Sleepy Time, because that might make him think he's got a great big huge super protector that's hiding behind him who is going to keep him safe. And also I would absolutely have a quick chat with his teacher and just let him know that this is kind of, is there anything that she can do to help him feel safer in that environment? Because when he has a big person who checks in on him or winks at him or rubs his back every now and then, it often reduces the cortisol, so he won't need to do that. So it's often a sign of anxiety.
Oh,
nice.
I think this is really great for you to tackle now, Lisa, because I feel the same way here at work. And yesterday I ate a bomber jacket.
Should have seen when it came out.
Good gravy on it though. So, it's heartbreaking, isn't it, when they're so little?
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
Oh, Lisa, I hope that helps. MaggieDent.com is where you get all those resources as well. So
Okay.
check
Thank
that
you very
out.
much.
No worries,
Thanks,
sweetheart.
Lisa.
My pleasure.
Felicity's in Applecross High Flick.
Hello, how are
Hey, mate,
you?
good. Here's Maggie for you.
Hi, Maggie. How are you?
Good. What's happening?
Good. I have a 13-year-old son who has never been into any trouble before. He's always been very good and compliant. 4 weeks, 3 discrepancies at school, and no accountability. It's all the teacher's fault, apparently. So we're just like pulling our hair out, my husband and I, because we're trying to, teach him that he has to own up to his errors, show some remorse, or at least own up to it.
Yeah.
we've tried taking social media off him, Xbox off him, and he still thinks it's not his fault and it's not fair. And yeah.
This is common. This is common, Felicity. Don't worry, mate.
Oh my gosh. And it's so interesting. It comes just after the previous question, because I'm going to tell you that your son is actually really probably also struggling with massive anxiety in a big environment with puberty happening, which means he's got all these other changes going on, including his brain getting pruned. And that means they're far more impulsive, they're far more reckless, and sometimes the acting out is a way for them to try and belong with a bunch of boys. They're trying to get some status because they're biologically wired to want to kind of be included with, key friends and key things. So they just don't always think. But I'm going to let you know that he is not deliberately doing a lot of this behaviour. So when you think, well, let's just punish him, you're not actually helping him know how to make a better decision in that moment. So it's about making choices that's going on. Now, there's lots of free articles, again, on my website helping you to understand this, but I want you to, if you haven't bought From Boys to Men, I explain it in enormous detail about how we communicate to a boy, because once he starts doing this, he's going to get busted and busted and busted, and then he's going to hate himself, and then he's going to get angrier, and the angrier he is, the more the behaviour that will continue, whereas we coach them. Yeah, I get that. I get that. That's what's going down. Maybe you just take a breath. Maybe you go for a run before you get into class. There's all these things we have to help him, recognise, because of course he's going to be defensive. Because do you know a teenager who's not defensive when they've done the wrong thing?
Yeah.
And this is developmentally incredibly, incredibly normal. So once again, it feels like an alien might have stolen your son, but we're going, this is exactly what they're supposed to do. Their biological drivers want them to be more independent, to be respected more, even though they don't deserve it. And it's really, really a bumpy ride, but I've been writing about it for years, so you'll find truckloads of free stuff on my website. And possibly listen to the podcast I did with Richard Seidler on Conversations about it, because that one really, apparently, a lot of teen boys said, no, that lady knows what she's talking about.
Hey, Maggie, so in the meantime, while she is sort of doing the research, and if he keeps being disruptive at school and stuff like that, you said that punishment doesn't work.
No, we have a deal. So we sit down and we go, right, this is what's going down.
Yeah.
And this is something that didn't go down before, so things are changing. And we're really we want to be the person who helps you become a really good man one day, but this is kind of normal. But it can become a habit and it can become a problem, and people then see you as a problem, and we don't want that to happen.
Okay.
So I have a little step process that's on my website somewhere there that says we need him to know what is wrong with the behaviours he's doing. What is it where you're trying to do? Because quite often they're trying to have fun. Try often they didn't think. Try often. So when we get under the intention, then we're going to say, okay, so this is how it is according to the school rules and how our values are. So what do you reckon you might do next time instead if you felt the same way? We walk through with them, and when we do it, feed him first. Seriously, feed him first.
Feed him, hand him back his social media, and then sit him down and say, we're not going to go down that rate, we're going to work together.
So our options are we work with you, because we don't like punishing you and making you angrier, because that doesn't make any sense. But we have to really take some steps that you get to be accountable for, but they need to be steps that he can manage, and they need to be little steps gradually leading to another. There's a whole section in about a deal. I'm going to set up a deal for you, and we'll help you get to where you want to be.
Yeah,
very
awesome.
good. Very
Great
good,
advice.
Maggie.
Thanks, Felicity. Good luck. Let's go to Elise in Safety Bay. Morning, Elise.
Hello.
Hi, Elise.
Need some help from Maggie?
I've got a beautiful 8-year-old son who is incredibly intelligent, not just academically but also emotionally. He's sort of wise beyond his years. And he's caught in this really interesting place of not being able to connect with anybody at school, and not being able to sort of make friends his own age. But then he's also too young to hang out with the adults and sort of banter with these adults.
Yeah.
And it's sort of with COVID, they've separated all the cohorts at school, so he's been forced to try and make friends with kids his own age instead of playing with the boys in the year level above. And my beautiful little boy is now like, what's wrong with me? Why am I so annoying? I can't make friends.
Aww.
and he's in a really dangerous place, I feel.
Oh, look, it's wobbly, and I have just probably the thing that's going to help him the most is you're right, he's going to be a bright boy, and he's probably going to naturally gravitate to older, kids when he can, but he's 8. And 8 is also a really tricky year. It's one of the 5 tricky windows of boyhood. Sorry about that one, Dob, that grenade, which makes them even more sensitive because there's a change in their hormonal levels and they get really sensitive about these things. So this is a perfect window, and I am going to suggest to you this is, and I really don't like fogging my stuff, but there's an audio that I've created called I'm a Good Friend. And what it does, it actually is let's pretend they close their eyes, but it's actually about welcoming and farewelling strategies and all sorts of things about him being a good friend to himself. And I created it for a lot of those kids who just, no one wants to play with me, I got no friends, because they didn't have the social skills. They were turning up with a miserable looking face with their arms folded, and who wants to play with that? So when we actually work with the video he's running in his head before it gets entrenched, we can change his mindset and we can get him practicing at home, we can get him smiling in the mirror, we can get him shaking hands, or just knowing how to create connections that make other people feel more safe around him. And he will find someone in his common interest thing, that's your thing, who maybe needs to get to a chess club, but something that's his, one of his passions. He'll tend to make friends better with people with similar interests and passions. So I hope that can help you get over this little glip.
Oh, or just drop him down to the nearest nursing home and get him to befriend some old people, because it sounds sounds like he's just older beyond his years.
He's old beyond his years.
And he thinks that all of the kids that he's speaking to in his year are stupid. It's like, come on.
And they probably are. They're actually their own age.
Thanks, Lise.
Good luck, Elise.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.